BGM is on. Am I here? Uh-oh. Hello? Hello? Am I here? Am I here? Oh no, I forgot to change the latency. So there's gonna be a little bit of delay. But hello! Hello, if you can hear me! Hello? Oh wait, maybe I should check. Okay. I think it happened. But yes, hi Lala, it's Star-LaLa. This imperfect star wants to share her music desires to the world. Hi! Yay! Okay, let me adjust my music. I think it can be a little bit louder. If it's too loud, let me know. But I think it's okay. I think. Yay! But yes, hello. I'm so sorry. Because today's training was about 30 minutes away from where I live. So it's like, and it didn't end until like 4:02. So I was like, I gotta hurry up. Let me out. It was quite the drive to today's training. Because where it was last year, it wasn't that far of a drive. But today, or this year, it was. Oh, goodness, all the trainings this week. Trainings on top of trying to set up my classroom. And then I have meet the teacher tomorrow. Ah! No break. But yes, thank you so much for being here. Even though I ran a bit late. Because the thing with me is that anytime I'm out, I go out for just like a little bit, and especially from where I am, it's really hot, so I sweat. Like, I gotta take a shower. I have to. Like, I don't want to like even like sit in my chair or lay in bed if I'm like sweaty and dirty. I gotta take a shower. So I had to go take a shower before a stream. But hey, here's the thing. I got home around 5:45. I finished my shower a bit ago, and I quickly set up my stuff. And look, it's only 5:14 my time. Not too bad if I say so myself. Oh gosh, and my phone is buzzing off right now. Oh my goodness. Hold on, I gotta be a good team member and actually check to see if they're mentioning anything important. Okay. Okay. Look at me, I'm still on the clock even though I'm off the clock. Okay, nothing too important. We're good to go. Yeah! But yes, today's stream will focus all on my education. Education in general. The very beginning, start a stream, I'll talk about my experience as much as I can without doxing myself. And then from there, maybe scroll through the Reddit a bit. It's like, I don't want to stream for too long. Especially because I know, Lockie, you're staying up late for this, huh? So yeah, not too long of a stream today. But let's get some announcements out the way real quick. Just super quickly. Oh wait, the chat! Chat! Oh wait, oh that's the wrong one. Eh? Where is it? Where's the chat? Eh? Uh-oh. Sorry, no chat for today. I don't know what's going on. Ruh-roh. Okay, well, going on. This what happens when in a rush. Sorry, no chat. But okay, so quick announcements. So real quick. Oh, that's good to hear, Lucky. But real quick, yes, my new original song, What a Waste! Available on multiple streaming platforms. So, or it's also available on my YouTube channel as well. Give it a view, give it a listen, if you would like. Yeah. Hey, next one! VTuber Matsuri Concert! Yeah! The event hosted by the amazing Kori Ojo. It will be streamed on her Twitch on August 29th. More details can be found on her X. Yeah. And I'll try to make more reminder announcements as it gets closer to the date. But yes, I'll be performing in it. Yay! I'll be performing in a group performance for the song Clarity. If I were love. Wait a second. Hold on. I need to check my mic settings. Did I turn off the reverb? I did! Okay, good job, me. As I was thinking, I was like, wait a second. Did I turn off the reverb? Oh, goodness. Such a hot mess. But yes, if our love is tragedy, why are you my remedy? Oh gosh, sorry if my voice is rusty. Been a hot minute since I last sang. It's coming, it's coming. And lastly, but not least, I am an ambassador for Advanced GG now. Yay! My new hashtag Lala tunes. Yeah, very high pitched. But yes, Advanced GG, use code LalaLovers10 for 10%. Oh, whoa, 10% off your order. Yeah! And then speaking of which, right now, to hydrate, I have the hydration for spiking passion fruit. And it's a HiQ collaboration that they have. And you get to choose like the opposing team. So I have, this is where my HiQ knowledge is gone. Of course, the OG team that the anime is focused on. Oh gosh, I can't remember! Teacher brain! But what's funny is that I know the opposing team that I chose, Nekotama. Ah! Well, brain fart. But yes, speaking of which, I need to hydrate right now. Because busy day. I think I woke up at 6:30 to really make sure that I got to the training on time. It's like I got breakfast, went to the training early, and yeah, was there from 7:45 to 4. So yeah, I gotta hydrate. Ooh, yeah, tastes so good. But alright, those are my quick announcements. Now let's just jump into it. Now you're probably wondering, what is this blank white screen below me? It is MS Paint. I think it's like, this is gonna be the best way for me to like visually just like write out what I'm saying. Because I'm gonna talk about my experience. Now we'll see if this works. Because I have this cheap writing tablet. It's not a drawing tablet. It's just a cheap writing tablet I got off of Amazon years ago. Yes, hydrate. Let's see if it works. Oh, it does. Okay, but I need to make the size bigger. Perfect! And I think this will be the easiest way for me to clear everything. Okay! So yes, my teaching experience. So I went to university for about 3.5. Oh, this is not working as well as I wanted to. Oh, wait! My glove! I don't know where my glove went. I had a glove, so maybe that's why it's messing up. Intermission! I'll leave myself. I won't mute myself, but those here can find my glove real quick. I do recall needing to take it out for something, but I can't remember. I can't remember what I did with this. This is what happens when you don't put things back where they're supposed to go. What I've done to erase myself. Ah! I gotta see, what did I do with it? Things are just falling down. That's no bueno. No bueno. Goodness, I can't find it. Ah! Oh my gosh. Well, this is gonna be interesting. This will be interesting without the glove. Oh gosh, I'm tired. Oh no. This is the worst. Yes, a true teacher experience, but guess what? As a true teacher, we will pivot. We're gonna pivot. I guess I'll write like this. 3.5 years. University. You get the idea. I'm stopping right there. Yes, it should be fine for one stream. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I was in university for 5 years in total, but it's because like that the first like couple was because I majored in something else that was not education, because you know, typical parents where it's like, you should do this. And because I was unsure of what I wanted to do upon entering university, I was like, sure, I'll do it. Did I like what I was doing? No. Like, I had a mental breakdown to really get myself together. It's like, you know what? I think I finally know what I want to do. So, technically, it wasn't education, but on top of my bachelor's degree, I got my teaching certification along with it. Because again, I'm not saying what I majored in, because I don't want to dox myself. But yes, so 3.5 years of university, going under the education program to get my teaching certification. So I went through pre-teaching, developing teaching, and then like 1 full year of student teaching. So for those who don't know what student teaching is where you just go to a school that will get chosen for you, or at least that's how it works at my university. And I've heard for other universities around the area that they tend to only do 1 semester, but my university does 1 full year. But then you go to the school that they choose for you. You can choose the district, but they will choose a school for you, and then you work under, or you are supervised under a site coordinator. So a professor who is at the school and who will be like observing you, scoring you, and whatnot. But then yes, so went to student teaching for 1 full year. I student taught a 3rd grade classroom, and yeah, let's just say that was probably one of the roughest years of my life. It was rough because the school was 40 minutes from where I lived at the time, and then this was unpaid. I don't get paid to student teach, especially for a full year. So needing to go to the school as much as I had to, on top of completing my university work, on top of like trying to get my teaching certification. And let's just say there was a student who was very, very interesting. Very interesting, because the reality of teaching is that not all students are not gonna, be the angels that we want them to be. And then especially because there's so many factors whenever you think about students. You gotta think about their home life, their own mental and emotional well-being. Like, let's say even if they have an okay home life, just they themselves, maybe they just ain't feeling it. So a lot of things to consider, and so it was just one of those students where it was just a mixed bag of everything. And then at least at the school that I student taught, it was an open class environment, like school. So that means there was like no solid walls. Like you could hear if a student screamed loud enough, in which I had that student, then like let's say like third grade was like on one side of the school building, and then first grade is on the other side of the building. Like if the student would scream loud enough to be heard all the way to the other side of the building. So yeah, that's where it's like, yeah, I definitely don't want to work at a school like that. In case of ever having a student like that. But yes, and I graduated. Let's see how I can do this. Graduated. Maybe it just would have been easier to type it. I had an idea in mind. Graduated 2020. And who remembers what happened in 2020? Take any guesses? Any guesses? Who remembers? See, this is a teaching strategy. Wait time. If a student does not answer, don't just give them the answer. Give them a few seconds. So yes, if you remember, back in 2020 was COVID. So I graduated during COVID time. Like the very last 2 months of my university years before I graduated, I student taught virtually. Like everything just went virtual. And so yeah, I didn't even walk. Like they displayed everything digitally, like online for graduation. Now, granted, I actually don't care about that stuff. In fact, it just seems more stressful, like doing it in person and all that does. Now I understand. Oh, it's such an important moment. But it's like, for me, I don't care. I do get it that other people care, but I don't care. But yes, interesting times. And thus, my first year of teaching. So I taught 20. I'll do this for the school years. 2020 to 2021 school year. My first year of teaching was virtual. Everything was virtual because of COVID. Yay! Yay! First year of teaching. Ah! Oh gosh. You hear what I'm saying. Yay, first year of teaching. It was virtual. And then I taught at a charter school. So I'll say the different types of schooling. So yes, there's homeschooling. If your parents decide to not send you to any school whatsoever, and they want to just either purchase a homeschooling program or they want to teach you themselves. Oh, and let me say the grade level. Okay, so imagine teaching first grade all virtual. I know it's crazier for pre-K and kinder, but yes, my first year teaching, everything virtual. So even veteran teachers, we're brand new to this, because teaching has never been just straight up virtual how it was during that time. So everyone was having a fun time. But yes, teaching first grade, all virtual. Interesting times. But yes, so I taught at a charter school. So there's homeschooling, there's private schools where you pay the big bucks. But then if you don't have the big bucks, then you can either send them to charter school or public school ISDs, independent school districts. So with the difference between charter school and ISDs, that's how I like to say the difference. Because they both are public schools. But the big difference is that charter schools don't get the same type of funding that ISDs do. Could first graders even use phones? They learned how to. Trust me, it was interesting trying to navigate first graders through this program that we used, where we just put all of our schoolwork in. Now, interesting enough, and I don't know if this is my luck or something, but I had the GT students, which means gifted and talented. So that just means they're kind of more, up there academically, but then that doesn't mean that they're the smartest of the smart. They could be, most of the time they are. But GT has so many areas why a student could be gifted and talented. Like maybe it's their creativity. They could be getting F's, D's, but they are so creative for their age. And that's why they would get gifted and talented. So I think that's why, like, during that year, it was kind of okay. But at the same time, I had a student who still did not know most of their ABCs. So that's where also the reality of education, in which I'm sure people do know, but in case for the people who don't, is that not every child will be on grade level. Sometimes it may be most of your class. Sometimes it'll just be the few. Because, like I said, since I had the gifted and talented students, some of them, and then the others were also split with another teacher. So, yes, I had those students, but I also had students who, like I said, one student still did not know really any of your ABCs. I do a sigh because, like, that's just the reality of education. Like, and then the higher you go, the higher of a grade level you teach, the bigger the gap is. Because pre-K is pre-K. I mean, it's great if a student already knows their ABCs, but if they don't, that's our job as pre-K teachers. But if, let's say, but pre-K is not a required thing, at least from where I am. So let's say if a parent decides to skip pre-K and just sends them to kinder, okay, the gap may be there, but it's still understandable. But then this is where other things could be going on with the student. Maybe they have a learning disability. Maybe they should not be in a general education classroom. Maybe they belong to a different area. So yeah, a lot of factors. Oh gosh, I'm already yapping about something else. I'm trying to talk about my experience. So yeah, 2021 charter. Oh, that's right, charter school versus ISDs. Okay, because I worked at a charter school. So charter schools don't get the same type of funding that ISDs do, independent school districts. Because for charter schools, they don't have public bus transportation. They don't get the funding for that. So pretty much most of the transportation were just like car. Everyone was pretty much a car rider. Yes, there will be daycare buses, but that's it. It's like not even walkers or like students who just walk home. It's just like, it's either you're a car rider or a bus rider. That's it. Or if the charter school has their own daycare system, then parents could pay money for that. But other than that, that was it. Also, you don't have to physically look for them all. Yes. And let's just say that they were, like, I think that was like the most lenient that any administration team have been when it comes to like our teacher observations, just because like it was just brand new. Like, brand new. a new experience. So it's like, you really can't, like, judge harshly on a teacher just because of them being unable to teach due to it being online. Because teaching has always been just like an in-person thing, especially elementary level. Yes, there's exceptions, blah, blah, but I'm just talking about pre-COVID. Yes, the U.S. education system. Also, disclaimer, yes, because I am from the U.S. And then speaking of the U.S., it's because yesterday I went to a church where that's where like the big meeting was being held for my school district. And something interesting that a speaker said, because if you're not too sure of what's going on in the U.S., especially in regards to education, as this motivational speaker, or not motivational speaker, just speakers said, it's like right now it's like an assault on U.S. education just because of all the changes that are going on, negative changes. Yes, sure, some people can take it as a positive, but being an educator myself, I will say is like, yeah, right now it's a rough time. But if any changes were to happen, at least from where I am, it would be from the very, very top. Because as a former partner teacher has told me, who has her doctorate degree, so I call her doctor, that is like, if any major changes were to happen, the classroom teachers will be like kind of like the last positions they'll touch, because they need in classroom teachers. Do they need as much of any of some other positions like instructional coaches and all that? Not so much. Yeah, thank you, Bell Dark. But that's where it's like, fortunately, I'm back in pre-K. Oh yeah, let me continue on. It's like, here I am stopping. So yes, I worked at charter school for some years. So yes, 2020 to 2021, first grade. And then I left this charter school because whenever I got hired, it was like just a phone call. And because I knew things were going to go virtual, I accepted it. But like, it took an hour to get there. Because I did have to eventually start going to the school physically, even though we were still teaching online. So because it was an hour, I was like, hey, principal, I can't do this. For now, I'm only doing it just because, it's my job. But I'm not staying. And my principal completely understood. It's like, yeah, no, I understand. Thank you so much for all you did. And it's like, yeah, no problem. Fun fact about my principal at the time. It's like, for the last month of school, she disappeared. And apparently, she did something. I don't know what she did. I get an email from district. I think like the second till the last day of school, where it announced that my principal got fired from the district. I don't know what she did. Because like everyone was just like, where is she? Like, she's not even here for like the big state test. What's going on? And then getting that email from just like, this principal has been fired. They are no longer allowed to work for our district. It's like, what on earth? What did you do? Still fun times. There goes my letter of recommendation, my reference. It is like, I'm being for real. I'm being like, oh gosh, I don't want to curse. I'm a teacher. But it's like, I'm being like for real. Like I to this day, 5 years later, I still don't know what happened. So I moved districts. So 21 to 22. Now this is where this is a thing with me. I don't want to just jump into a teaching position without at least getting an idea about the district. So whenever I changed districts, this is where I was then a TA, teacher assistant, in a first grade classroom. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, the E is cut off. So yes, TAs, teacher assistants. Or another interchangeable term would be paraprofessional. So pretty much, at this charter school at the time, they had a teacher assistant for the grade levels pre-K all the way to second. Because, also another big difference of charter schools and ISDs. At charter schools, they could jam-pack a classroom with 30 plus students versus ISDs where it depends on the ISD. At the one that I'm currently working for, the max, I say quote-unquote max, but the max would be 24 students. Now, you may think, that's still in the double digits, Star-LaLa. Well, it makes a big difference of having 30 or more versus just 24. Now, yes, that's still a lot. It should be less, but unfortunately, that's just the state of our education right now. But yes, because of there being 30 plus students, at the time, back then, that I was a teacher assistant for a first grade classroom. And I will say, amazing teacher. The teacher I worked with, amazing. I learned a lot from her. Yeah. And because I liked how things were, even though I'm gonna be honest, there was some drama. Of course, there has to be work drama, but I won't get into it too much today. That can be saved for another stream. Maybe we'll call it drama. Teacher drama. But I liked the school enough to where I was like, you know what, I'll teach. I'll be a teacher for the next school year. So, 22 to 23 school year, I then became a second grade teacher. Sorry for the pause, like, oh my. Second grade teacher. Save us. Okay, here's how I became a second grade teacher. And that year I had 31 students. I will never forget. But I had a teacher assistant, so it was still within the school budget to still let pre-K all the way to second grade have a teacher assistant. And she was amazing. amazing, because there were some other teacher assistants. Well, you know any job where you're gonna have those people who, won't do their job. I'm trying to find a kinder way to say it, but it's like, there's not. I mean, I'm just gonna call it out like that. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you're not doing your job. Like, doing the, not even bare minimum, that's not doing your job. Like, there's a difference. Like, you can see the difference of people who don't even put up the bare minimum, those who do put up the bare minimum, and those who go, above and beyond. So I was very grateful, and I am very appreciative. I got a very, very amazing teacher assistant. Because I will say, without her, I don't think I would have made it that school year. Because lo and behold, I had the GT class again for the second grade class. So yes, very, very smarticle students. So it is like, and then here we go with just reality of education. Each week, it's always a different student that wants to, cause some issues. Is it because your students went from 1 to second grade? Oh yeah, so this would be the same group of students. So I was like, that's where, I had a huge advantage since I was already with them in first grade. Even though I was just a teacher assistant, I knew most of them whenever they went to second grade. So yeah, big advantage for me. So I think that's why, that school year, despite having 31 students, I still had a teacher assistant who was amazing. I knew the students, so already right there from the get-go, they already knew me. And yeah, coming in for the paycheck. Yes. And also, well, this is me going off tangent again. Let's say people who are either teachers or teacher assistants, they don't do their job, but also if administration don't do anything about it. Because this is where I just don't understand, since I've never been an admin and I don't think I ever want to. But I just get confused because I've sat in plenty of meetings where they want to just state in general, yes, make sure everyone does their job. It's important to be accountable for your job. Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I trust you. But then what about those who don't? And you would think, well, shouldn't they get in trouble? If admin are not wanting to be confrontational at all, do the proper steps to start documenting and writing those people up, because I guess fear of not being able to replace someone for their position, then it's just yeah. So it's just thinking about the unfairness of those who still get a paycheck. Okay, I'll talk about this tangent once I get to it, because I'm not saying it for this year. This year that wasn't the case, 2022 to 2023. But it's just, I'll get off that tangent later. But yes, this school year, was I survived it. And then we go to 23 to 24. Okay, so this was a rough school year. This was rough. So I changed districts in the middle of the year. So I did start out in 2nd grade. So I'm just going to write 2nd. But then I went to being a pre-K para. I'm just going to write para. Yeah. So this was a very, very rough school year. Because there was changes in admin for the worst. There was changes in district in general. So in this school year, I did not have a teacher assistant anymore. The teacher assistant was shared amongst all 4 teachers. So pretty much each grade level was assigned a teacher assistant, but I'm just not going to count it because they just took our teacher assistant to do other stuff. And so it's like, yeah, it was rough doing it solo. And I had 30 students. And let's just say the group of students this time around, much more on the rougher side. But here's the great thing about charter schools. So another big difference between charter and ISD schools. With charter schools, for their contracts, or at least the one that I went to, you can resign at any time of the year. Like, it could literally be the 2nd day of school. If you want to resign, you can. With no consequences. Sure, you may not be able to use your principal as a reference if you just, like, leave on bad terms without telling them. But you could just leave at any time with no consequences. Because if you try to resign during, like, after a certain period of time at an ISD, independent school district, then they can actually revoke your teaching certification. Teaching license, sorry. So that's a big, big difference. So let's say the cutoff point is October. So if you try to resign after October, then they pretty much, you won't be able to teach because they can revoke your teaching license. But fortunately enough, I was at a charter school. So I made the decision in November of this year, 23 to 24. It's like, you know what? I am very, very upset. I feel like I am not being appreciated enough for what I've done. Especially because in a big difference of the previous school year, 22-23 to 23-24, where it's like, I know I'm good at my job. I know what I'm doing. So if you're going to treat me like I don't know what I'm doing, if you're going to pull me from my classroom for a long amount of time when I should be in the classroom teaching, and then you want to accuse me of stuff that I know has not been true, because if that was the case, then it should have been an issue also the previous school year. So why is it now an issue for this school year when I'm pretty much doing the same thing as I've been doing? So I really felt like I was getting wronged for stuff that I just know I didn't do. So I just made the big decision before Thanksgiving break. Is like, you know what? I'm not coming back. F this place. It's like, if you want to lose a good teacher, then you know what you did. And then it wasn't just me too. Another amazing first grade teacher left before Christmas break, and then my team lead, well, she sticked it out for the rest of the year, but then she decided to resign after the last day of school. It is unfair, but that's where I use that as an experience of what now. Oh, sorry. Oh gosh, I can't find my wording. Let's just say yes, even though a very, very rough experience then, but now I know the signs if that were to happen again later down the road. Because, I mean, right now you see how many years I've been teaching, which one could argue is like, oh, you still haven't been teaching for that long. So it was just another experience that I had to go through, unfortunately, but I was able to learn from it. It's like, look, if you're gonna treat me like, I don't know, a child when I'm not, like, we're all grown adults here. So let's talk like grown adults, but you refuse to, and then want to make decisions that are definitely not the best, and then not even give me the support that I've been asking for, then yeah, it was time to call it quits. And so I was jobless for about 2 months, because of course, it's like, okay, now let me say this. I did not just quit without a backup plan. Within that week before I resigned, I interviewed for my current school, and I was quickly hired on the spot. However, the HR process took forever! And then it's like, it did not help because it was Thanksgiving break, and then Christmas break, winter break coming up soon. So it's just like, I did not officially get started until January. Most of the newer teachers spend first 4 to 5 years to find a good place to settle down. Yes. And I do agree with that too. I mean, look, I changed districts. I think, because I was at my first charter school, then I went to another one. Now I'm at my current ISD. So that's 3 times. And who knows? Maybe after this school year, I'll change again with how things are going. In which I'll talk about it later in a bit. But, so, I started at my current school as a pre-K peer. Again, I talked about this before where I was like, I don't want to just jump into a teaching position if I'm not going to like the school. In which I think it's articles. Now, yeah, even though the pay is terrible, it's god awful. If you think it's already bad for teachers, it's terrible for teacher assistants, paraprofessionals. The pay, I don't know how I did it. Granted, yes, I had my fiance to help out too, but it's just like, oh my goodness, the pay was awful. Especially for the amount of work that paraprofessionals and teacher assistants do behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, no, raise the pay. It's like, I don't care if you make it the same as teachers, because they're pretty much a second teacher in the classroom. They really are. Especially if if the homeroom teacher is, let's say, absent, then you rely on your para to take over the class. Can you go to any school in the whole country? No, I cannot. So my certification is only for my current state. If I am wanting to teach in a different state, then I'll have to get the teaching certification for that state. So I'll have to take their test. They can see, yes, I got my certification in my current state, but then it will not work out. I'll have to take the certification test for their state, and then that way it can be up to date for their state. I won't have to do the teacher requirements, I guess you could say, again, since I have my university years for that. But to actually get the certification, it has to be with that state. Thank you for your question, Lucky. But yes, for my current school, I was a pre-K para. And yes, my teacher was amazing. So I feel like I've been so lucky of getting amazing people to work with. It's like my pre-K teacher, she's amazing. I think she taught for 20 plus years. I can't remember the exact number. But yes, she taught pre-K and kindergarten for 20 plus years. And sadly, she retired at the end of the year. She was getting to that point where it's like, you know what? I think this year's a good year to retire. It's like, no! But I've learned so much, and it's because of her that I was like, you know what? Yeah, pre-K's not so bad. Because I thought second grade was my sweet spot. Because because you can always like imagine yourself like, oh yeah, I think I'll be great in high school. But it's not until you actually experience it where maybe you'll change your mind. So I always knew I wanted to be in elementary. I did not ever want to touch middle school. I don't ever want to touch high school. I remember how I was, so I don't want to do that. But I was like, yeah, I want to work with the littles. But I never knew. Okay, no, I lied. I say I want to be in elementary, but I did not want to touch 3rd to 5th grade. And this may give away which state I'm living in, but it's because of state testing. Because, yeah, I don't want to deal with all that. Even though it's ironic, I say that, and I'll talk about it in a bit. But I wanted to just work either pre-K to 2nd grade. So as you see, so far, I've worked 1st grade, 2nd grade, and then being a pre-K para. So I thought 2nd grade was my sweet spot. I was like, yeah, I really like 2nd grade because like it's kind of in the middle of the students are independent enough to do their work, but then they're still like kind of like, you know, sweet to you kind of to her. Or it's like they still need to rely on the teacher still a bit, but can also work independently. But pre-K, oh my gosh, pre-K is so much fun. Looks like the need to go get some things done. I'll make sure to catch the VOD. Or if you're still streaming when I get back, take care. Okay, Bell Dark. Take care, take care. Thank you so much for stopping by. But yes. Now, I will say we had some students where maybe they just did not have good control of their emotions. But now that I've been in pre-K, I just feel like it's much more understandable if a student was to be upset. It's like, well, they're only 4 or 5 years old. So it's like, it's understandable. Like, for a good chunk of them, this is your first year being in school. So yeah, it's like, it's understandable. You can't blame them. Leave them alone. So I was like, yes, I want to be a teacher at this school. Because I really love the school environment. The culture, the peoples, admin. This is me complaining again. But I always say it's nice to understand my current principal. Because at this charter school, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about accents. Like, I understand people having accents. And it wasn't just me. But it was very hard to understand my previous principal. Like, I could only understand, like, every other 3 words. And then it doesn't help whenever my previous principal would go on their tangents or talks fast. And it's just like, what on earth are you saying? And also seeing the difference of, like, of just talking, like, being a public speaker. Because my current principal, I don't know how they do it. They're just so amazing at talking. And that's also what I noticed this week throughout my trainings too. It's like, wow, some people are just meant to be, you know, our leaders. Like those who work higher up. Or to be a public speaker or motivational speaker. It's like, man, they know how to talk. Okay, hold on, sorry. Let me do a quick hydrate real quick. Oh my gosh, Lockie, you don't understand. That was it. Like, even whenever I would have to do, like, my one-on-one meetings with the principal, my previous one, it's just like, yeah. Now, whenever it came time to resigning, they had no idea. I just sent my resignation email through, I sent my resignation letter through email, and yep, have fun. Because it was within my rights. I could just resign whenever I wanted to. I didn't have to, like, tell them in person. So it is what it is. Best decision I ever made in my life. Oh, sorry, hold on. Let me check my messages to really make sure. Oh, messages and emails. Because, it's almost the start of school. Okay. Fake it till you make it. I could not. I could not do that for the 23-24 school year. I tried to for as long as I could. I was like, you know what? I'll wait till winter break. But I was like, no, I had to leave now. I couldn't. I couldn't. But now it leads us to the previous school year, 24-25. Speaking of, well, I guess I've had some rough school years. So I did start as a pre-K teacher. So let me just leave it like that first. So I started the year as a pre-K teacher. It was such a great time. My first month of being in the pre-K classroom as the teacher. The first day of school, oh my gosh, I cried. Just because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing such a bad job. But then everyone on my team was like, no, Star-LaLa, you're okay. So after I overcame that hurdle of the first day of school. I was like, yeah, the rest of the first month was great. It's fun. And then my principal wants to have this meeting on a Friday after school. It's like, pre-K team, I need to meet up with you. It's like, oh, I wonder what's going to be talked about. And my pre-K team lead, she has been working at that school, at our school for 20 years. I think like 20, 21, 22, 20 plus years. Which is crazy to me. It's like, wow, so you've really seen this school change for over 2 decades. But she was like, oh, this is not going to be a good meeting. Because usually whenever our principal does like a meeting after Friday or Friday after school, that's not a good sign. It's like, oh. So, the bad news. So, we did not have that many pre-K students to justify the amount of teachers that we had. Because I think there was 5 classrooms in total. Because they needed 5 pre-K classrooms for the previous school year where I was a para. So this year, we needed 5 pre-K classrooms in total because of just how many students there were. But for the 24-25 school year, there was not that many pre-K students. And because of the rule that the district has, whoever is the last to join the team is the classroom that gets dissolved, which means that they no longer exist. Unfortunately, that was my classroom. And this is where I'm just gonna say for now, because it can be saved for another stream. Again, the drama stream. But there was another pre-K teacher who was a pre-K teacher this school year as well. But let's just say they are one of the people I'm talking about where they did not even do the bare minimum. But because admin did not want to do their job, especially my principal, because my principal thought it would be a good idea to hire them again as a pre-K teacher, even after all they did this school year. It was like, yeah, let's give them another try. Let's show them grace. Then it's like, yeah, no. They were still terrible. They were not meant to be a pre-K teacher. I could see them working with the older kids, but not a pre-K teacher. And again, this can be saved for another stream. Because here, it's almost been an hour and I'm still talking about my experience. But yes, they should not have been a pre-K teacher. But because I was the last one to join the team, despite doing such a great job, and my team lead tried to fight for me to stay, that because I did such a great job, I had the honor to move to 3rd grade. Yeah. He doesn't want to do it. There we go. Yes, like a Thanos snap lock key. Oh yes, and I'll be busy, But pre-K is not as draining as other grade levels, especially 3rd grade. Oh my goodness. The grade level that I never wanted to teach. So, it's a TLDR. So, the 3rd grade reading teacher had a lot going on. a lot going on with them. That I found out much more about them whenever I moved up to 3rd grade and had my partner teacher, the doctor. Well, no, they do. They try not to fire teachers. They really, I mean, yeah, if admin don't even want to like fire the incompetent people, then district really tries their best not to fire you unless it's like for a really bad reason. Like if there's a lawsuit against you, yes, the district will then fire you because they don't want to be a part of that lawsuit. But they try their best to keep as many teachers, especially with the quote-unquote teacher shortage, and I'll explain that in a bit. But they try to keep as many teachers as they can. And at least with my school district, if a teacher is no longer needed at one school, but needed at another school, then you would transfer to a different school. In which that was a possibility. It was well, I wasn't given a choice. I was pretty much voluntold to do it. But let's say that could have been an option of that if there was really no other positions that I could have taken over at my current school, then I would have had, but there was a pre-K position needed at another school, then I could have transferred. So they really try to avoid firing teachers if possible, unless legal issues are involved. But yes, the 3rd grade reading teacher who I replaced, they had a lot going on. And they were also one of the teachers were kind of like barely doing the bare minimum. They felt like they were doing a lot, but no. Oh man, teacher gossip. But no, so it was just perfect timing to where whenever they left, they needed another teacher to replace them, and because my principal wanted to keep me on their campus, they're like, "Hey, you're certified. Hey, we need someone to fill this position. Star-LaLa." So yes, I had the great honor to work in 3rd grade last school year. I started late September, and I did finish the school year in 3rd grade. And if you remember what I said, at least in my state, 3rd to 5th grade are the state testing level, testing grade levels. So, a fun time, serious times. All the testing. On top of state testing, also district testing, benchmarks. And this is where I really got it. It's like I've always known about this, but being in it just adds on more to the experience where if just seeing the big gap. Again, technically I did not have the GT class, but my partner teacher did. And at least where it works at my current school in district, like 3rd to 5th grade, you'll have like 2 teachers. One teacher will be in charge of reading and social studies, and your partner teacher will be in charge of science and math. So I was in charge of reading and social studies, and my partner teacher was in charge of math and science. And so we have our own homerooms. I have my homeroom, who I see in the morning, and then I'll see her homeroom in the afternoon. So in her homeroom, she had the GT students. So technically they were mine as well. It's just that they're not part of my homeroom. So I don't know if you're noticing a pattern. Every other year, I seem to get the GT students. The gifted and talented. But then that's where I saw the big gap in education. Because those who were in the gifted and talented classroom, our partner teachers' homeroom, they were on grade level. Or they were way above grade level. Like, I have one who I think is like on 6th to 7th grade reading level. Divine trials to test your might. Indeed, indeed. I don't know why I'm still in education. A job's a job. It's like, okay. Oh gosh. Because, I mean, I really don't mind being a teacher. I don't. But do I want to keep staying as one for like the next 20 years? Let me be honest, I don't know. I really don't know. It's like, if it means being in pre-K, sure. But just because of what happened last school year, it traumatized me. For this school year, I am back in pre-K. Because I kept talking to my principal all of last year. It's like, you will put me back in pre-K. Please? Please? I don't want to stay in 3rd grade. Like, that first month, whenever I made that transition, it was so hard. I cried like every day. Yeah, thank you, Lucky. Not to toot my own horn, but I would like to say that I am. I would like to say so. But, I mean, this is where it's like, I think I'm in the mindset of, I'm going to do my job. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, but also understand the students. Because teaching can't happen if you don't have your students all together. And then this is a big thing that I learned back in university. And I think this is something that isn't really taught if you go through any other like alternative routes to become a teacher. Where classroom management. So, you know what? I'm going to write it. So, we're done with this. We're for now. Yeah. This has been up for a hot minute. But yes, big thing if ever becoming a teacher, this would be my number one advice. Classroom. Oh, well, I like how I'm writing so nice now. Maybe it's because I wasn't pressing hard enough. But classroom management. Big thing. I mean, yes, sure, they will offer classes and say it at some like district trainings and whatnot. But if you are brand new to education and you did not go to university to take those classes, then it's like, you really don't understand. If you don't have classroom management, you're gonna have a tough time. You will. Now, the question, what is classroom management? It is as simple as coming up with some attention getters. So if your teacher ever went, class, and you said, yes, it's as simple as that. Now you got your students' attention. Or macaroni and macaroni and cheese, everybody freeze. Now the students are frozen, and you got their attention. So as simple as that. 2, how do you want to organize your classroom? Do you want to organize your classroom in groups? Do you want to organize them by individual desks, depending on your grade level? How do you want to have your students line up? Do you want them to line up in alphabetical order? Number order? Because if you just let them line up however they want, then you run the risk of them arguing, I want to be the line leader, blah, blah, blah. You actually almost ended as a teacher yourself? Oh, hi, Skaman. Hello, welcome to the stream. You just froze. Hopefully for not a bad reason. Are you okay, Skaman? But wow, Lucky. You gotta tell me about that. But yes, classroom management. Big thing of... Because I feel like if you're not in education, like you're just like, you work an office job and then people talk about like teachers, they really just probably think, yeah, teachers can just go up there and teach. Like they just gotta teach your content, that's it. Yes, I am okay, Skaman. Thank you. I'm surprised that I'm okay after all the training that I had today. But yes, classroom management. Very, very important. Because if you are not organized, your students will pick up on that and they will not be organized. Yes, that's a story for another time, Lucky. But very interesting. I'm gonna be honest, being a teacher was not my first job, or my first option. I never ever thought I would be here today. It's because because I used to be a big sports nut back in my elementary, middle school, high school years, where I was like, I want to be a professional tennis player. I want to be a professional, I don't know, for sure a professional tennis player, which that's a conversation for another time. But I really never ever thought I was going to be in education, especially as a teacher. It just so happened to work out this way, but I am enjoying myself so far. Yes, I've been through some rough times, now that I recall all of it as I was going over it, and that's a TLDR version. Like, there's much more stuff that happened within those school years, but it is crazy to think about my educational journey so far. Hi, Nova! Karaoke win! I had my birthday karaoke last week, yeah. Maybe my next karaoke will be my October break. So not until October. Sorry! But how are you, Nova? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, yes, because if you missed it, I am in pre-K for this school year. Yes. But a big thing, like I said, classroom management. If you don't have it, you're going to have a rough time. And then, of course, it's all dependent on your grade level. I would like to say the younger they are, the more you need to have. So for pre-K, you need to have a lot. Because there's a lot that we have to do. Like, I think, I'll just say this one guideline that I have to do for my classroom. In 5 different areas, I need to have pictures of the students and their names. Do you have to do that in high school? No. Who cares about the students? No, I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying. Do you speak other languages? No. For now, just English. I'm trying to learn Japanese, but it's been a hot minute since I've taken a Japanese lesson just because before the school year starts, the beginning of the year, roughest part of the year. Because I have to get everything set up, and then because I am in pre-K, like that first month, that first month of school is just really teaching every single thing to pre-K students. Like, here, this is how you use the restroom, this is how you wash your hands, make sure you use soap, this is how you play with the toys, make sure you don't hit another friend. This is how you slide down. This is how you play on the playground. So, so very busy. Very busy. So I only speak English. I'm so sorry. I really do want to at least learn Japanese, but that will take a hot minute. Nova, what'd you say? Konnichiwa. But yes, I just wanted to say real quick. Especially if you're just lurking and you're thinking about becoming a teacher, classroom management. Think about how you want your classroom to be. Yes. Again, not to toot my own horn, I'm just saying this because of what my admin have said in past years, that I think I have a pretty good, strong classroom management. Especially last year whenever I taught 3rd grade. Like, I had to learn their curriculum real quick. I had to adjust to the students real quick, because like, it's different jumping from pre-K students to 3rd grade students. Like, it's a whole new ballgame. But because I had strong classroom management, that yes, I may not know the content as well as I should because of how sudden it was, but I was able to start off strong because I had strong classroom management. Screaming! What y'all saying? What y'all saying? Okay. I feel like I really talked my ear off on that. So we will stop with the Microsoft Paint. Especially because I lost my glove. I think I have to order another one. I don't know what I did with it. But yes, that's enough of the writing tablet. We are done with that. Let me go disconnect it real quick. Yeah. Okay. Can my mouse go back to being a regular mouse now? Okay, no. Let's turn it off and turn it back on. Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna have to just restart my computer after stream because my mouse is still the tablet mouse. But this works. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, now we will scroll through Reddit for not too long. Just because it's already been a bit of a long stream. But yes, we will scroll through the teacher subreddit to see what other people are talking about. You think it's French plus Japanese combined greeting? Yes, I do think so, like bonjour and konnichiwa together. I was just teasing. Oh my. Oh, okay, I already see the first topic. Interesting. Hey, and then we do that. We do this. Oh, it's not picking it up. Okay, hold on. Aha! Wait, eh? Aha, there we go. Right, the r/teacher subreddit. Let's see what people are saying. Okay, yeah, so yeah, this is already the first post I stumble upon. Will I lose my job over this? Oh my. What's going on? Oh no, sorry if it doesn't pick up the whole thing. Let me see if I can fix it in OBS. Okay. So will I lose my job over this? Graded till around 1 a.m. last night, totally burnt out. One of the essays was clearly AI generated, and it was in a completely different tone from the students' past work, so I wrote them a comment and asked them to see more after class. The problem is, I had that comment copied, and I accidentally pasted it into a ton of other essays. Like 25 plus, didn't even notice. This morning, I woke up to a bunch of emails from confused students and parents. One kid was panicking. Another literally apologized and said they didn't know it wasn't allowed when they didn't even cheat. I feel horrible. I already sent out an apology email, but I'm scared this is going to get escalated. This wasn't malicious, just pure exhaustion and a dumb mistake. I love my students and this isn't who I am as a teacher, but I messed up. Bad. Has anyone else ever done something like this? What happened? Oh my. Uh-oh. Well, that is a big, mistake. But no, I would like to say that this should not get a teacher fired. That is my opinion. I've heard worse. Like, in the words of one of my past admin, it was like, again, it has to involve legal issues if you were to get fired, especially from the district level. Because your principal can't just like, hey, you're fired. It's like, you have to go through certain steps. And especially from district level, it's like you have to do something super duper bad or cause legal troubles to the district to where they will fire you. But this doesn't seem like a legal issue at all. It just seems of a teacher making an honest mistake because they were working very late. It's like kind words but for teachers. Yeah. Even though other posts these past few weeks have been interesting just because of what's been going on in education. But let's see what people are saying. No way you lose your job over this unless your admin is psycho. Easy mistake to make. Hell, you could blame it on technology if you really wanted to. I wish that were true. Our admin already laid off a dozen teachers this year, so everyone's walking on eggshells. If that's the case, taking take getting fired as a blessing. If they don't see this was an innocent mistake, they're smoking some dank shit. Ah, yes. And probably should have bad intent to be fired. That as well. In which, again, I'll go more to detail about this situation. But last year, whenever I was talking about that one pre-K teacher who was not even doing bare minimum, like, they weren't even complying to the pre-K guidelines that was set by the district. Like, and she attended the trainings. She did attend those trainings where it was talked about, hey, you gotta do XYZ. Did she do XYZ? No. In fact, I was like, she was barely teaching the curriculum. And at least in my opinion, pre-K curriculum is like one of the easiest curriculums. It was like, it's really not that difficult to, keep up with. So, with that being said, because she was working with the school for 2 years, that they had enough documentation to say, hey, you didn't do what you needed to do. So, we're letting you go. But the fact that it had to take 2 years for that to happen, like I said, it takes a bit. But of course, if you cause legal issues to the district, then you're just fired just like that. Just like that. But yes, we'll be done with this post. I think, yes, they had connections, but they didn't build those connections until they actually came to the school. But because of the connections they built at the school, I think my principal probably did feel like it was a bit more difficult to fire them, because the person that they were in a relationship with did play a pretty big role that school year. So it was a bit harder to, try to say something to them. But after last school year, it's like, yeah, nah, you actually didn't even, complete what you needed to do to get your teaching certification. Ah, that's another talking point, just real quick. So, because, education has changed so much after COVID, to where because of the quote-unquote teacher shortage, and I say quote-unquote teacher shortage because it really depends on your area, where they are now hiring teachers who are not fully certified. Now, does that mean they're just going to hire anyone off the streets? No. But they will hire teachers who are saying they are working on getting their teaching certification, and so they will hire them, but they have to complete it within either that same school year or the following school year. It really depends on the type of contract that you have with the district. Now, if you fail to complete your needed work by that deadline, then it is justified for your principal to say, hey, you didn't do what you needed to do for the district to be a fully certified teacher, so I have to let you go. That's what happened with that pre-K teacher I'm talking about. It's like, I don't know what they were doing, guys. Like, I get it. We all are busy with our lives. It's like, I have my life to live, you have your life to live. But if you were actually serious about your job, then you should have gotten your work done. You should have done what you needed to do. So the fact that they failed to do so after given 2 years to get it done, then it's like, it is what it is. And I did not see them at today's training because all the elementary schools came together for the district, and I did not see them. So I think they have either just went to a different school district or pursued a different career, in which, I hate to say it, for them, probably for the best. Moving on! Okay, I am going to try to avoid posts that are about policy and politics. I don't want that to be that kind of stream. So for now, I'm going to just, scroll over those. Not decorating classroom this year. Huh. let's see what's going on. Title says it all. The county and district have eliminated all funding for classroom decorations this year. As a result, I'll be putting up only the bare minimum. The required district-provided posters and signage. That's it. No colorful borders, no themes, no cozy reading corners, no extras. Can't wait to see the look on everyone's faces when they walk into a classroom that reflects exactly what was prioritized in the budget. Nothing. Welcome to the new school year, brought to you by austerity and apathy. Apathy. However you say it. Okay, let me scroll back up because... yeah. I guess this is still technically talking about the policy and politics. But... I think this is also just dependent on the area where you live, because if you don't get paid as much as other states or areas, because some states, they only pay their teachers like 30 to 40K, whereas, at least where I am, you can get paid to at least, I think, about like 50 to 60K a year. So a little bit of my salary. Hold on, let me hydrate real quick before I keep talking. Okay. What was I saying? Oh god. Oh yes. So it also depends on how much money you are earning. If you can even afford to like put in that much money to decorate your classroom, or to even buy like treats, snacks, or the whatnots for your classroom. It's like if you even do treasure box. It really depends if you can even afford to do that on top of all the other bills you have to pay for. So I can see where this teacher is coming from. For me, being a pre-K teacher and needing to decorate a pre-K classroom, is like, yeah, I am going to spend, out of my own pocket money to decorate my classroom, because I do want it to be a welcoming, warm, I'm so sorry. A welcoming, warm classroom for my pre-K students. But if you're teaching a grade level, especially like 3rd grade and up, I don't think it's that necessary to decorate your classroom as much, especially once you hit like middle school and high school, depending on what you're teaching. Like maybe sure, a few of your content area posters and whatnot, but that would be pretty much it. I don't think much else. Okay, but let's see what people are saying. I put up the students' artwork, writing, and group posters that they make. It's beautiful and free. Yes, I do this as well. Even in 3rd grade. It's like, if anything, it's like I want my 3rd graders to still, be kids, because they are 8 and 9 years old around that time. And they still love to color. Well, most of them. But yes, regardless of grade level, I feel like this is a good thing to do. That is also a neat way to do 2 things. First, demonstrate progress as the year goes on. Slowly, your room becomes full. Second, when that one kid decides to destroy the room, get a line of crying children in front of admin. The kid didn't wreck your classroom, but their work. It's like 10 times the teachers paid here. Oh, my pay? Oh my. I'm sorry to hear that. Because that was another reality check I had to take in. It's like, yes, my state may not be the best education-wise, but for my salary, it's definitely more on the higher end compared to other states. So that was a wake-up call of just like, maybe I should be really grateful for still having a teaching job, because that's why I'm able to do what I am doing with my music right now. Like, I'm able to, not too expensive, like I still have to have a budget, but that's how I'm able to commission artwork, commission instrumentals, commission someone to make my music video. Yeah, no wonder people immigrate. Yes, yes. I would like to say I think my state is pretty high on that list of people coming here for job opportunities. And that's why when I say quote-unquote teacher shortage, it really depends on your state and area. Because, like, in my area, it's actually, I guess, a bit more difficult to try to get a teaching position if you don't have, like, any experience in education. Unless you have the connections. That's for a different time. That's a talking point for the drama stream. Because connections. This applies to everything else too, no matter the job. But connections do play a big part too. Ooh, that's a different talking point. Oh no, you're fine, Lucky. This is a talking stream, just chatting. No problem at all. But let's see, what's that second part right there? It is the student's classroom. And I splurged on the huge post-it note chart paper because it will last all year. I stacked new work on top of old by topic. The last 2 weeks of each trimester, we take a backwards walk through the try and write a reflection on what we learned. It's super supportive of the kids and they absolutely love it. We can look at how handwriting improves, how our minds changed about things, and I don't have to spend 3 days over the summer setting up my classroom. Well, now I feel silly with my dry erase boards. What a wonderful idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. I mean, I guess this could be implemented in a pre-K classroom, but I definitely see that being more suited for, like, the older kids, the upper grade levels. But good idea. Snaps. Let's see, I hang everything up that students give me, even if it's a stick figure drawn, a torn scrap of paper. They thought of me and I love it. Yes, I did the same even whenever I made the move to 3rd grade. Because that's where, like, if a student went that far to even draw you something, that means they took pride in what they did, and to make them feel good about what they did, then yeah, I would display it. That way they saw that I did care for what they made for me. And yeah, it's to further decorate the classroom. But I really feel like students take great pride whenever you display their work, and thus they feel a bit more, comfortable. More willing to interact with you, talk to you. It's part of that building that rapport. R-A-P-P-O-R-T. Rapport. Or that positive connection with students. Because that's also, one of the many factors of teaching. If a student hates you, it's game over. In which, I mean, it wasn't towards me, but it was towards my partner teacher, where a student just didn't want to go to my partner teacher's class, but it wasn't because of her per se, but it was because of the subject. They did not want to do all the math work. They were capable of it, but they didn't want to do it. So, one of the many things, the struggles of teaching. And again, that will be a conversation for another time. But alrighty, let's see what else is going on. Most of the teachers at my kids' school switched grades this year. Why does this happen? Oh, and this is coming from a student or a parent. Interesting. My kid is in elementary school. I learned that most of the teachers have switched the grades that they're teaching this year and was curious. I haven't heard of it being very common, but do teachers prefer switching grades, or is it something determined by the district or administration? Do they ask to move? Isn't it more of a pain to have to develop all new material for another grade? I feel like I was just talking about this with my experience. So, to answer your questions, yes to all. It really depends on everything. I'll say my bit after reading some comments. No, we do not like changing classes or grades. Once in a while is okay, but not every year. My guess, admin wanted to shake things up for the purpose of changing something that probably isn't broken. Maybe the school is restructuring due to retirees dropping enrollment or not being able to fill open positions. Also, the possibility that 2 retirees finally opened up a desirable grade, both the most senior remaining jumped on it, and the whole house of cards had to be restacked. Yes, this. Yes, this. Admin's only real power is evaluations and grade level assignments. Some admin like to quote-unquote fix things by changing everyone's grade levels. Most likely they are trying to make a name for themselves or are just on a power trip. Or some teams are toxic and need to be separated. This is why my colleague and I are never going to be separated. With us working together, the students have had explosive growths. The admins love us since we make them look good during tours. Also, nepotism or someone known/preferred by admin may have gone hired. That will happen often and cause a forced change of assignments. I have so much to say about this, so much to say. But this will be saved for the drama stream. It's as if this post was made for me. Oh my goodness. I think I can say I've been in education long enough to say yeah, seen a good chunk of this so far. Okay, but to answer the question more on the general end, at least from my experience so far. Let me just go back to the actual, so I can, I guess, address each question. So, let's see. But do teachers prefer switching grades, or is it something determined by the district or administration? So, yes, to both. Sometimes the teacher may just want to switch grade levels. Maybe they're done with the grade level. Because, this is where it really depends on your admin. Especially your principal. That would be a long drama stream. Oh my goodness. The tea is piping hot. But at least I wouldn't be starting the drama stream talking about my experience. I still can't believe that took a whole hour. Even though 5 minutes of it was trying to find my glove for my tablet. But, oh gosh, what was I saying? No, it's okay, Lucky. Don't blame yourself. I'll just remember. Oh, yes. Now, this also depends on your principal and admin team, especially your principal, because they do assign where you go. They do have the final say, because it is within the contract. And it also depends on your certification as well. If you're only certified to teach, let's say, 7th to 12th grade math, then you can only teach that. If you try to go to 6th grade, no, because you're not certified in it. So, with that being said, even if you prefer a grade level, it is in the contract, depending on your school, where if admin decide to change your grade level, even if you want to stay in one, then they do have the final say. Now, if you either through nepotism, connections, or are just close to the principal like that, to where you can just choose your grade level, whichever you want, however you want, the whatnots, and they will always say yes, then you're great. But it also depends on whether you have the work ethics and the skills to back up the decision as well. So this is where, especially with what's going on recently with testing and everything, test scores are very important now. Especially because now teachers can earn an extra amount of monies dependent on student test scores. I'm really trying to be careful of how I word this. So, let's say if... What was I saying? I lost my point because I was looking at something else. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So, of the decision as to why I went from pre-K to 3rd grade. So, I'm just using my personal example. My principal told me to view it as a huge, huge honor. To look at it in a very positive light. Because if I had shown that I was incapable of teaching 3rd grade, which is a testing grade level, then she would not have put me in that position. Because to be honest, if she were to choose someone else from the pre-K team, then there would be teachers who, yes, they are either better off in pre-K or just not suited or don't do their job. But if they showed that, yes, they're okay in pre-K but not in 3rd grade, which is a testing grade level, then they don't want to risk the test scores. So because I showed the capabilities of, again, not to toot my own horn, but being a pretty good teacher, that's why she made that decision to move me to 3rd grade. Because she knew that I was going to do my fucking job. And I will say for most of my students, they did produce some pretty good test scores. But it's just like, yes. Konnichiwa, Skayman! Hello. Okay, now let's just move on to the next part of the question. Again, I keep yapping. Do they ask to move? So yes, this was me all of last year. Whenever I had to move from pre-K to 3rd grade, I kept here and there. I'm not saying I did it every single day, but I did like maybe once every other month. I kept on asking my principal, may I please go back to pre-K? I'm doing this because I pretty much am forced to. I got voluntold to do it, but I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing my job in 3rd grade, but I really want to go back to pre-K. I really, really do. I do. So may I please go back to pre-K? And my principal, they weren't really giving me a solid yes until the very end of the year. So let's say I was living in anxiety, in the suspense all school year. But yes, you can ask. But this is also dependent on your principal. My principal is kind enough to get our input, consider it, and make the decision based off of the current staff. However, I heard from my partner teacher, that the previous principal would not have cared. They're gonna put you where they think they can get the better test scores. And speaking of my partner teacher, my former partner teacher, who's the doctor, like she told me that all of her teaching positions, she was told to move to it. She never got to choose. Like, I think she started as an art teacher, actually, but then was told to teach, I think, a high school grade level. She was in high school then. But then she hopped districts as well. So I think it's a common thing of people, like, moving districts if they either move or just unhappy with a certain district. But for my former partner teacher, I'll just say doctor, so you know who I'm talking about. So whenever doctor came to the current school and the previous principal was in charge, that they would always just say, hey doctor, can you go here? Can you go here? And doctor just did it and didn't mind. So yeah, of course there's people who don't mind being told where to be put. And I think doctor told me at one point, one school year, that they had to change grade levels 2 times. I think they started the year in 3rd grade, but then got told to go to 5th grade, but then got told to go back to 3rd grade. So that happened within the same school year. I'm just like, what? And also, I think another thing with the previous principal is that they didn't want teachers to feel too comfortable at their current grade levels. Hey, what's up, Azumar? What's up, what's up? But yes. So that's what happened with good thing I did not work under the previous principal, because like I have a feeling if I was under the previous principal, they would have forced me to probably teach one of the testing grade levels. But now to answer the last part of this question. Isn't it more of a pain to have to develop all new material for another grade? Yes. And I can say this because I had to do the change in the middle of the year. Well, okay, technically more of the beginning of the year still, but I had to do it. And a real quick crazy story with that. So, like I said, I didn't start actually teaching 3rd grade until more towards the end of September of last year. But my principal, she told me on a Friday, and she wanted me to get started in the 3rd grade classroom that following Wednesday. And we had a holiday on that Monday. So count the days. I got told after school Friday, and then we had no school on Monday. And she wanted me to get started on Wednesday. Quick math real quick. So that means I would pretty much have to get all set up in my new classroom pretty much that Tuesday and be ready to start teaching that Wednesday. So not even 2 days. Tuesday would have been the only day for me to get ready, and then I would have just jumped in. No thanks. No thanks. And that's where I did talk to other teachers, especially my former pre-K teacher who I worked with. And because they did work with my current principal for a few years, they're like, you got to tell your principal that you need more days. Like, that's ridiculous. Tell your principal you need it. Tell her. And again, the good thing with my current principal is that I can actually have a conversation with them. So that's what I did. I did converse with my principals, like, hey, look, I need more days. Like, that's not realistic, especially because I had to take down everything in my pre-K classroom, which was a lot of stuff, and you want me to set up a 3rd grade classroom. But then that also means I had to find a storage place for my pre-K stuff, in which most of it kind of went to my apartment. But so that's where it's like, look, you gotta be reasonable. I know you want me to get started as soon as possible, but you also need to give me time. Because if you're not gonna give me time, then I'm just gonna be more stressed. And the amount of times I considered resigning, so much. I wanted to resign so many times. The decision was so close. I had it printed out and ready. It's like I was about to give it to my principal whenever I said, hey, I think I want to. I think I really want to. I was this close. It's like, you know what? I think it's worth it. I think it's worth getting my teaching license revoked. But no, after, again, many conversations with the doctor and with other teachers as well, it's like, you know what? Let me tough it out. Let me tough out the school year. And again, it was a good experience. I'm not saying the best. I'm definitely not saying that. But it was a good experience. And I will say, I think it did work out in the long run. Because my principal knew. It was like, look, if you don't give me pre-K again, I will leave the school after the school year ends. It's like, I will leave if you don't give me what I want. So if you want me to stay, if you actually care about, me being a teacher at your school, then please give me what I want. Because don't you want your teachers to be happy? To be happy where they are? Because I feel like, if teachers are satisfied where they are, and if that's actually what they want to do, then they'll be more productive. Because if you don't, then they're not going to be happy and not as productive as you may think. Now, with third grade, I'm not saying I wasn't productive. I did my job, and Doctor made sure of that. But of course, like, I did do what I had to do. But in my heart was set for pre-K. And it was a sudden change too. Like that was the first time of that ever happening to me. But then, like, I get told by Doctor, well, it does happen often in education. And I'm just like, that doesn't mean I like it. But yes, I will say it was a good experience. It was. Will I want to do it again? No. And we'll see what happens this school year with that. Because yes, I am back in pre-K, but it is still within my contract that if, let's say, another teacher leaves and they need to fill that position, and for some reason my pre-K classroom have to get Thanos snapped again, then that may be a possibility again for this school year, but we'll see. I think my principal really does appreciate what I did for last school year, and I think I really I got on her good side for that. So I think that's why, she gave me what I wanted. Like, she has told me, hey, Star-LaLa, I really do want to keep you. Like, I love you too much to let you go. Because, it's I have to make that sacrifice. You gave me good test scores, but I don't want to lose you as a teacher. So it's either forcing me to go to a grade level that I don't want, in which I can then resign without penalty after the school year ends, or I give you what you want, and you stay at my school, and you'll still give me the test scores, just not in the needed grade level. Because pre-K does... Oh, yeah, sorry. If you did not know, pre-K does do testing now, just not as rigorous as 3rd to 5th grade. Harsh conditions to learn being a teacher. Yes. And this is where it's like, well, I don't know if this is just me being negative or I guess jaded, but whenever going to these trainings and seeing brand new teachers coming into the field and they're all, excited, super happy. I'm not saying don't be, but it's just like, it's like you're gonna go through some experiences. Now, of course, if you stay happy, also, I'm not saying I'm not happy. In fact, and I'm also not saying that 3rd grade was so awful to where I was not happy. I did eventually adjust to it, get used to it. I did end up loving most of my students. I like all of them, but I love most of them, if you get what I mean. You should get recommended as irreplaceable. If I want to really build that connection with the principal. But no, I really don't like that type of thing. I don't. Oh wait, that goes back to the nepotism. Let's go back to nepotism. Where is it? I remember when I had to solve quadratic problems during pre-K. Well, okay, so now in pre-K we do teach the shape quadrilateral. So any shape that has 4 sides, if that counts. Favoritism, yes, the favoritism. One could argue that I guess I got my pre-K position through favoritism, if one wants to really think about it. But I think I earned it. But hey, it was really either you give me my grade level that I want, and I'll stay at your school. I do my job. I do it pretty well, I would like to say. Or if you don't give me what I want, then I'll take my teaching somewhere else. And give that school my scores. But yes, nepotism. Also nepotism or someone known / preferred by admin may have gone hired. That will happen often and cause a forced change to assignments. This happened to my school just last year. Okay, I won't go into too much detail because of course I can't, be doing that, especially if they ever stumble upon this stream. Or if, let's say, if they do stumble upon this stream and they know I'm talking about them, that means they have self-awareness. So congrats on you for self-awareness if you ever do stumble upon the stream. But yes, so how can I say this? So let's say someone on admin team decided to first hire. So, a keyword, first hire their daughter-in-law. So their daughter-in-law got a certain position at the school where someone else could have taken it, but they decided to open that position and give it to their daughter-in-law. And at the time, I'll just say for their age, they were under 20 at the time. And then later throughout the year, the daughter-in-law's sister got hired to do another position at the school. Am I saying it was through nepotism? Yes. But at least with the sister, I feel like because they are the older sister, that they are more mature. They are over 20 years old. They seem to understand that there is a boundary between teacher and student. Because that's also a common misconception that people have with being a teacher, especially a first-year teacher, is that, hey, I should be friends with the students. No. It is good to build relationships with them, and to if you want to go to their soccer game or to any events outside of school, that is fine. That's not a problem. It's whenever you think that they are your best friends or they view you as their best friend is where problems can arise for multiple reasons. And of course, I've had that mistake, but at least I made that mistake during my student teaching. And this is where it's if ever possible, if it's within your means, I do highly recommend trying to either go to university to take education classes or take education classes around the area, especially ones that focus on classroom management. Yes, I'm saying that again because it is very important. And part of that classroom management is understanding the boundary between teacher and student. Because, I keep repeating myself, my apologies, but whenever that boundary gets crossed and gets blurred, then the students will not respect you as they should. Now, I'm not saying this is applied to everything. It is also dependent on, different students, different teachers, different situations. I'm just saying, just as a general thing. So if it is different in other people's cases, then great if that works out for them. But at least from what I've experienced and seen, you can have conversations with them. You can build those relationships with them. But the moment they just call you, bro, or by your first name, or they just think they can see you as their best friend, someone who will let things slide because you're their bestie, no. Then you've already lost the point as a teacher. But I'm not saying that to do the opposite, to not build relationships, because if you don't, students are smart. Even in pre-K, they are smart enough to know when you really don't like them, and when you do, and when you don't respect them, and when you do. Human society is pretty complex. Indeed it is. And same with teaching. If people just think that teachers can just go in and teach the content, then they really don't know. There's so much more to teaching. And, I mean, yes, depending on the grade level, but there's so much more. So much more. Learning is like learning the students, learning the curriculum, attending PDs, attending meetings, needing to complete paperwork, especially if the student is identified as well, they can fall under different umbrellas, but let's just say if a student needs to get tested for anything, then paperwork for that, communicating with parents, so much more to teaching. And so it's like, I do appreciate the people that say, oh yes, we don't deserve you teachers, or it's like, oh yeah, I'll do so much, and it's like, cause yeah, we do. And I really do appreciate those who at least even say that kind of stuff, cause it's really a lot. That reminds me of a vid where a student called teachers by their first name. Yeah, no, that's a big no-no. Big no-no. Oh my goodness. I get reminded of this parent, my very first year teaching back in COVID times. Just because I think my email did have my first name, that this parent just kept calling me by my first name. And it's like, yeah, that's also another boundary too. It's like, I don't ever let parents call me by my first name. So the fact that parent kept on doing it, for me, I took it as they did not respect me as the teacher. Because that was the only that one parent ever in my teaching career that kept on calling me by my first name. It's like, are you serious? It's like, yes, I know your student's a GT student. Yes, this is my first year teaching. But it's like, I am the teacher. You need to be calling me by my last name. So the fact that parent kept on doing it, ah! Ah! Ah, yes. But we will save more of this nepotism talk for another stream. The drama stream. But alrighty. I am sad to say this, but I am getting pretty tired. I still need to go eat the dinners and then do some other stuff. I am still gonna do some work stuff after this stream. And get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Because it's Meet the Teacher. Yay! Yay! Yeah, that's more to teach students sense of respect. Yes. And I'll just say this, like, it is entertaining whenever a student is very upset at you. Maybe not at you, but because they're upset about something else. But then it's like, they just like keep saying, your name as they should. The teacher's name as they should. Because that really shows that, again, that sense of respect, like you said, Lucky. Oh gosh, now recalling. I guess that has been added to my list of pet peeves. Do not call me by my first name! 2 hours are a good amount of time for stream? Yes. And then, as you said, Lucky, that I am going to be busy once the school year gets started, especially within the first month. But after the first month, most of the time, things get set into place, especially in pre-K level. But that's why I have everything pre-recorded. I have my poems for the poems that I release on Sundays pre-recorded. At least for next week's Kind Words video. I actually recorded it last week. So it's all ready to go for at least this upcoming Wednesday. I am just going to stream for now, just once a week. We'll give it a go, especially for next week, since next week will be the first week of school. I feel like you are more relaxed and used to streaming now. Ah, thank you. I think this is what, my fourth stream? 2 of them being karaoke. This one being my second kind of just chatting stream. But I would like to say I am more relaxed because I have y'all. Thank you so much, Star-LaLa lovers. Thank you. Because I definitely would not have been as interactive as I would be if it wasn't for y'all chatting and even like watching, lurking. So thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you. Will we get class dismissed? Yes, I dismiss you, not the bell. Oh gosh, that's a whole other thing too of an argument. Does the bell dismiss the students or does the teacher? I would like to say the teacher, but I understand people need to go to their next class and whatnot on time. So I guess also the bell does release you. I guess thank you for so much for watching, sticking around. If you end up watching the VOD, awesome! Hopefully this has been a somewhat educational stream, especially the first hour just being me trying to set up my tablet and then just talking about my experience and then just talking about some other stuff the last hour. If you ever do want to become a teacher or be in education, I'm not saying to be scared. I'm not saying that. I wouldn't be here for like another. I wouldn't have been here for 6 years if that was the case. But I just know it's like it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's not all negative as well. There are positives and negatives, just like with any other job. Thank you, Lucky. So yes, with that being said, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!